Okay, lots of plums and maroons and berries and deeper wine colors inside of this pile. I would say there's probably some deeper reds in here as well, but I put them in here because I wanted to make sure I was comparing like colors, especially when I got to certain, I would say, dark depths. I'm gonna lay all these out and we'll get started. Okay, I've tried to lay these out a little bit by color, but to be honest, I think we're just gonna kind of have to dive in and then maybe cross compare if things start to look super, super similar. So let's just dive in here. This is a Milani shade in, yeah, so this is one of those muted, almost grayish lipsticks called Rose Femme. I think it's a really interesting shade. To be honest, I could have put it in my mauves, but I've got a couple of those more funky colors in here. So let me see if I can cherry pick them out of this. This is one from Wet n Wild called Raisin. Once again, it kind of goes with that dark purple color, which is really kind of interesting. This is definitely more nude. Here's one, this is called Mauve. Well, that's very similar. This is from that MUA line. Those are similar, just maybe a little deeper. Here's one from Revlon. Yep, that's very similar, called Mauve Night. Here's one called Berry Kiss from e.l.f. You can see a pattern here. All right, I think I've pulled all the ones that are kind of in this vein. I am not a huge fan of the packaging on this, but this color down here is so cool. I don't think I have anything else like it. So I do think I want to keep the Wet n Wild one. And then I think I need to pick one out of the rest of these. I'm going to pass on the e.l.f. one, which is this one on the end. Just seemed a little patchy. I'm going to pass this MUA one. I think it's a little dark for me. So it's kind of coming down between this Revlon, which is here, and this Milani, which is here. I think this is the only Milani that I have left, so I think I'm going to hang on to the Milani and get rid of the Revlon. Jumping around a little bit, I'm going to move into some of these oddball shades that are down here that I think are just a little bit different than what's out in the rest of this collection. So the first is, this is Fiery Fuchsia. This should have clearly been in my pinks. This is part of the Bolds line from Maybelline. It is really pretty, but it's very similar to things that I kept when I did my hot pinks before, so I'm going to pass this on. This is a Bite pencil in the shade Rhubarb. It is probably one of their more popular shades. This should have been in my Midtones collection, Midtone Nude collection. I'm keeping this. See, this is the shade Vineyard, another one of those Revlon HD ones. Also should have probably been part of my Midtone Nudes. This is really pretty. I can see myself reaching for a shade like this a lot, so I'm going to hang on to it. This is called Spiked with Rum. That is a really pretty raisin shade. I'm gonna set it aside just because I think it's a dupe. I'm probably gonna pass this Revlon or Wet n Wild one along. This is the shade I Feel Pretty from Essence. It is sheer. It's pretty. I feel like that and maybe they're different. They are. That's sheer too though. Okay, so this, sorry I didn't tell you what this was. This is the Beautifully Bare line. This is in Touch of Berry. I really like this one in the wintertime quite a lot. I'm going to pass on the Essence and keep this one. This is a Bite Beauty in Winterberry. It's pretty. I like it. Am I going to reach for it? Probably not. It's not my favorite shade of time, and I think I have a friend who would really enjoy this color, so I think I'm going to pass this one along. This is from Julep. It is one of their, I don't know what kind of lipsticks. The packaging is really pretty though. It's got that awesome and very satisfying metallic or a magnetic click. Oh, this is another one of those purpley grayy colors. Ooh, and you know what? This is the shade Strut by Julep, and this is Wet n Wild Raisin. I will keep the Julep, pass along the Wet n Wild. This is Blissful Berry by Maybelline. That is a beautiful berry color. Oh, I love that. That I want to keep, but I want to see how it compares to everything else. This is MAC Rebel. Similar, but more purple toned. This is a very pretty shade from MAC that I always forget that I own. This is Mulberry by MUA. This is number 30 from Rimmel. This is very similar to, well, these berry shades I am swatching. Imagine that. This is Essence Matte 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 in 07. It's more of a muted berry. This is e.l.f. Wine in there. This is their matte collection, and this is Mulberry Maven, which is more of that plummy color. All right, I think I'm gonna pass these two e.l.f. ones on. I don't see myself reaching for them over the shades that I've swatched on my arm. They're not bad, so for $3, they're not bad. So if you like either one of these shades, grab them, not a problem. I'm going to keep MAC Rebel. I love it. It's this really pretty pinky raspberry plum color. I really do enjoy that. I am also going to keep this Essence Matte 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 07, which is this more muted berry color here. I really enjoy that. Then I'm also going to keep number 30 from Rimmel Kate, which is here, which is a little bit more of cherry plum color than this very purpley. You can see the difference here. And then I think I'm going to pass these two along. This MUA one right here, I'm okay with passing. I'm not going to use it over the others. This one I'm kind of torn on because it is similar to the Matte 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 one, but glossy. I don't know, I think I'm going to reach for that matte one over this glossy one. So I'm going to pass this Maybelline one along. All right, let's tackle this little pile here because I feel like it should have been swatched with the ones I just did above. This is Bold Berry by e.l.f. Definitely more of a reddish berry. This is new to my collection. This is Santorini Pop. This is part of the Jonathan Adler collection. This is one of those Maybelline color dramas that you can't get in the US. All right, let's swatch these two. So this one is Mulberry Maven. That one seems a little patchy. This is Berry Sorbet. I like the Mulberry Maven better, but I think it's going to be a little patchy, and I feel like I've kept colors like that. Pass these two along. I'm also going to pass this e.l.f. in Bold Berry. I think I'm going to keep these two. All right, let's dive into these Vampy shades down at this end. So this is another one at the Essence Matte Matte Matte. This is 08. This is very dark and vampy. The pigmentation on this is great. Like, I really can't say enough good things about this Matte 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 line. This is another Tarte Lip Sculptor. This is in the shade Rouge. That is Mediumis. And then this is the shade Divine Wine. Oh, see, okay. I have a love-hate relationship with these Maybelline matte lipsticks. I love them. They're incredibly affordable. I like the formula, but these do not last very long at all. Can you see the little mold spores starting to grow on this one as well? These, I feel like, get those mold spores within like 8 months. So in my mind, if you like a shade and you're going to use it up, awesome, but it needs to be a shade you're going to use up quickly or you're going to end up with mold spores on it. I'm going to swatch it real fast and then I'm just going to throw it away. It's beautiful, but it's not a shade I use often enough to warrant keeping, especially considering how quickly these go bad. This is an LOC from Tarte. This is the shade Glam Life. It's pretty. I have a lot of stuff like it. I'm going to pass that on. Okay, sorry, battery died. I was starting to say this is another one of the e.l.f. Matte lip pencils in Scarlet Night. See, that's really pretty. It's very similar to that Matte 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 shade though. I feel like I need to keep one or the other of these. We'll decide here in a minute. Trying to swatch these as similarly as possible. Okay, so this is an MUA lipstick in the shade Plum. It's a really interesting shade because it's like, it's almost more brown than red. This is definitely not plum. That is incredibly misleading. It's more of a muted brick red, rusty, sort of rusty red. Let's just swatch this other one here. This is MUA in Ruby. Yeah, and see, that's just a muted red color. So that is very similar to Divine Wine that I got rid of. I'm tempted to keep this one because I got rid of Divine Wine and I think it's a very similar color, but it's very glossy. The only challenge I have with these MUA lipsticks is, once again, just how glossy they are. They're beautiful pigmentation, but I get a little nervous with these darker, vampier colors like this. Okay, I think I'm going to pass along Plum. I don't see myself reaching for it. This one I'm tempted on, but I think it may fit into some of these other reds, so I want to kind of see how this one runs with the rest of these reds. Okay, making some decisions here. I am going to keep this Essence one. I really just love this formula a ton. I'm going to pass along the e.l.f. one. And I'm torn on this one because it's so glossy and so dark. Am I going to reach for it? But I don't have anything else like this in my collection, so I'm going to hang on to it for the time being. Okay, this is a Wet n Wild. They called this one Wine Room, which is why I put it with my wines, but it is almost more of a mid-tone sort of wine pink color. I do really like this color. I don't find myself reaching for these Wet n Wild lipsticks, even though the formula is great, simply because the packaging sucks. If they would redo this packaging, I would buy these all day long. I just don't like how the lipstick gets all over the inside. It's very messy. It just looks cheap. I don't know. I can't get over it. I'm gonna pass that along, even though I love that shade. Me being ridiculous. This is the shade Volcano. This is part of the Velvet Matte Rouge line. So this Velvet Matte is very similar to the Matte X formula from ColourPop, as also from like the Ruby Woo kind of shades. It's very, very matte. It's even more matte than the regular NYX matte line. That shade is pretty. Let's see how it compares to some others. This is a weird shade. I'm going to put it at the end. This is e.l.f. Rich Red in their matte line. Eee, let go. Oh, that is a bright red. Pass. I have a ton of those. This is Makeup Academy Plum. Don't think they know what plum actually looks like. Ooh, that is rich. Ooh, and really creamy. Pulling this one back out. Is that the same? Well, pretty close. Not exact. I thought that might be the same as the Tarte one. This one's definitely got more of a brighter reddish color, whereas this one definitely goes more plum. I think I'm going to pass this on because these two shades are very similar, even though I wouldn't call them dupes, and I will reach for the Tarte one over this. This is Lorac Dominatrix. That is really pretty. I like that it's creamy, but not overly glossy. This is 107 from Kate. This is a little bit lighter. To be honest, I need to decide between these two. This is Red Revolution from Maybelline. This is bright red. This should have been part of my reds. And it looks a lot like the reds, a bunch of reds that I kept, so I'm going to pass it along. Walk of Shame. This is Charlotte Tilbury. I'm really freaking torn on this. I don't feel like this is the most flattering shade on me. It definitely is more brown. I am going to move this to my browns only because I want to see how this shade compares to some of the browns in my collection. I probably could. This is MUA in Ruby. And this is a very deep red. Very glossy. It's pretty. Okay, so I feel like I need to decide between these two. Kate, which is more of a classic lipstick, and the Matte Velvet, which is a very strong matte. To be honest, I think I'm going to keep the Kate and pass on the Super Dry. I may regret that. We'll decide. This is the Lorac shade in Dominatrix. This is probably my deepest red. Hang on. I feel like I need to bring this one back into the equation. Let me clean my hand and let's do some comparison. Tarte Rogue. It's a very, very creamy berry color. This is Lorac Dominatrix. And this is Ruby from MUA. Okay, Ruby is definitely a different shade. I think I'm going to keep Ruby. I like Ruby. I feel like I need to decide between these two. So I'm torn a little bit. On one hand, I like this formula and I like that it has a gloss, but I have also known myself well enough to know that I probably won't wear a deep berry gloss. This one is slightly more satin. I feel like it's going to stick on the lips a little better. I'm going to part with a lip sculptor. I did not think that was going to happen. I'm going to pass on this Tarte one. I'm going to keep the Lorac one just because when it comes to these deep vampy shades, you want some staying power. You want something that's not going to slip around or look patchy. And I think I'm going to have better luck with the Lorac one than the Tarte one. Alright, last but not least, this is a NYX Simply Vamp pencil. This is a metallic red. It's just a really cool vampy color. I don't know why I like this metallic so much. And then this is Copper Rose, which is part of the new metallic line. And I gotta be honest, I kind of like both of those, so I think I'm gonna keep them. And I've done really well in this section, so we're gonna keep them. So let's do some totaling. Okay, so I don't know if I'm just getting more harsh as I go along or if I really did feel like I had more shades than I needed in this particular category. But all that to say, we are keeping 14 and getting rid of 24, so I get rid of 62% in this category. And I don't feel, looking at this over here, that I'm really gonna miss any of these shades. And I do feel like I like the ones sitting in here still. So I'm feeling pretty a-okay about this. We're going to move on to the last category, which is more of the sort of browns and rust shades in my collection.